Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host Stan Rattan and this is a blue collar wine show where I want to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And today I'm continuing on the theme of Oregon wines. It's Oregon Wine Month. May is Oregon Wine Month, and so I'm showing a little love to my brothers down south, brothers and sisters down south. And once again I'm doing an episode on Pinot Noir, probably their flagship wine, Pinot Noir. A lot of people call it Burgundian. They we like to refer to it that way because it probably is the closest to red Burgundy that you'll get without actually going to Burgundy itself. And actually, in some major competitions that have been held here and in Europe, Pinot Noir has beaten Burgundy in blind tastings. And the beauty of, and one of the things you have to think about with Oregon Pinot Noir, it is a lot less expensive than many Burgundies of similar quality. So, we're going to taste three Pinots together, see how they show. The first one we're going to do is the Foris Pinot Noir, Rogue Valley, Oregon, so further south, 2011. It rolls in at $19. Now let's see if I can do the camera right this time. Last episode, I messed it up and hit the stop button, so I had to do it in three parts. Let's get it right this time, Steve. So there's your Foris label. I did the Foris Pinot Blanc in the last episode, and I really liked it. So there you go, 2011, $19. Let's see what we get. Give the glass a little rinse. You really should always rinse your glass just to make sure you get any soap or residue off of it. So typical Pinot Noir, and I should have a white piece of paper, but I don't. Shame on me. Very light in color. Oh, here we go. Let's try here. So I know you probably, maybe you can see that, but it's very light. Pinot Noir is known for that, being light in color. Unless you go, of course, some of the ones down in Cali might throw a little Syrah in there, although they'll never admit it. I guess there are some people coming out with a Syrah Pinot. I haven't seen one yet. They should. If they're going to blend them, they should tell you, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just saying, at least tell us that you're doing that. Wearing the King's Market shirt, doing this on my lunch break. Let's see what we get on the nose. Very bright cherry, get a little bit of red licorice, black tea for sure, a little bit of a sarsaparilla root beer. I get a little dusty minerality, which is interesting. But definitely cherries, raspberries, black tea. I love black tea on the nose in a Pinot Noir. I don't know why, I just like it. Some of it even goes towards Earl Grey, which is really a very delicious aroma to get. So let's see what we get on the palate. Sorry about the phone, guys. I forgot to turn it off. Let's see what we get on the palate. So very nice on the palate. Good weight. Kind of very, I definitely get the cherry comes through. There's a little tobacco. Definitely a black tea element that comes through. This has good acidity, but yet it still has that nice black fruit, kind of a darker cherry fruit that really kind of balances out nicely with the acidity. You know, it's amazing, these wines are so light in color, but you get so much flavor, and I think that's the intrigue of Pinot Noir, is just that incredible amount of flavor that you get in the wine. A lot of black tea on the back end of the finish. But I like just the balance in this wine. Good acidity, making it a great food wine. Nice fruit. You know, it comes from down southern Oregon where it's a little bit warmer, so that obviously is coming through on the palate. Yeah, that root beer, that sarsaparilla notes are coming through. I like it a lot. A great Pinot Noir, really, for 20 bucks, 19 bucks, that's a great value. I'm liking that Pinot a lot. I'm going to give that a B+. Just excellent. A- even. I'm really impressed with that for $19. It's been a while since I've tried Foris, and I think that they're doing a nice job. I think a lot of people will like that Pinot Noir because of the balance of fruit and acid. It'd be great with salmon. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, I forgot to unscrew the top. Excuse me. Wow. As I pointed out in my last episode, there's a lot of screw top Pinot Noir out of Oregon, and this is one of them. Andrew Rich Vintner, 2009 Pinot Noir, Willamette Valley, Prelude. This rolls in at $22. Get a look at the label there. There you go. All right. It's funny, when I was telling somebody when I did the Bill Powers interview, which is a couple episodes back, I did a four-parter because it was an hour long. I learned something in setting up the camera. Since I'm doing these all by myself, is I should have lowered my chair to Bill because he's a small man. I look like a giant towering over him. It was crazy. Got to remember those little details when you're setting up the camera. So, Andrew Rich, this $22, Willamette Valley, 2009, a little older, vintage. I see, now this is really classic nose. Leather, cherries, a little bit of strawberry coming through. I mean, as soon as you put your nose in this glass, you're like, wow, that is what a Pinot Noir should smell like. Get a little bit of cinnamon, like cinnamon imperial coming through. Some Asian spice, which now Asian spice is a typical component of a lot of wines from Burgundy. And a little bit of that sarsaparilla coming through. Seems to be a trait of Oregon Pinot Noir. Stick your nose in a glass of Pinot Noir from Oregon sometime and just picture that maybe you know those little candies you suck on, those root beer candies? Think of how they smell, and you'll really get an idea of what we mean by that root beer kind of thing going on at the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice, almost plush fruit, which is kind of intriguing. I get black cherry, a little bit of black licorice, definitely some tea going on inside there, and the cinnamon is just like very trace, kind of hangs in there, which is really makes it really delicious. Good balance, very nice and polished across the palate, which I really like. Still has acid, you can still taste it back there. The Asian spice kind of lingers on the back end of the palate. This is a good Pinot. I'm not sure if you can get 09 anymore. I'm not sure. I might have dug this out of my cellar. Remember, I said I was going to do a little bit of, pulling some older wines. 09 isn't that old. You might be able to get it. 09 was a great vintage in Willamette Valley. Classic vintage. I mean, it was really good. So we're going to move on to the next one. I am going to give that Andrew Rich a B+, A- also. Hedging more towards an A. Nice job. 22 bucks. The thing is, now it's not totally Burgundian. I don't get a lot of earth, but I get that leather on the nose. Like it a lot. I think it's a classic job on that Pinot Noir. Now we're going to move on to the big boy. Drouhin. Domaine Drouhin, Pinot Noir, Oregon, Dundee Hills, which is an appellation inside the Willamette Valley. 2012. I'm kind of excited. 12 is a classic vintage. Now this rolls in at a hefty $42 US. And Drouhin is a family out of Burgundy that realized the value of Oregon and how it could grow Pinot Noir, so they supplanted Veronique Drouhin to Oregon. She became the winemaker there, and they do classic Pinot in Oregon. The problem when you get into that, you start getting closer to 50 bucks. As a critic, what I look at is QPR, quality to price ratio. How is this wine going to show? We look at a little bit more of a critical eye when they start getting up around $50 to $100 or above. So let's see what we get on the nose with this. 2012, a little young, it's not that old, but a good vintage. 12 was a great vintage out of Oregon. Definitely a little more earth on this. I get a little raspberry cherry, red cherry. A little wet stone. Now this is a little closed on the nose, which we'd expect from a very young Pinot. I get that nice, there's a little leather, earth kind of bark thing going on. Not a lot, I don't get a lot of the sarsaparilla on this nose. It maybe a hint. And there's just that backdrop, and this is, I find this a lot in Pinot Noirs, you get a little bit of that cinnamon thing going on, which I really like. There's a little red flower component, like the petals of a red flower, maybe violets, a little rose petal going on. Let's see what we get on the palate. Classic Earl Grey tea on this baby with that cherry, strawberry thing going on. But classic Earl Grey. I love that, Pinot Noir. A little leather action, a little earth. I mean, the fruit is lingering for quite a while. Good acidity, like mouth-watering acidity, but not like razor sharp. It has excellent balance. You can tell this is a young wine. Good, I'm getting good structure on it. A little grippy on the backside. Kind of just a little sandpaper action on the back end, which is okay. Young wine, but good fruit. Black cherries, strawberry, leather. All those things are coming through. Good balance, nice wine. Definitely, it's holding its own for the extra money. You could put that away for 10 to 20 years easily. I had trouble spitting that one out. But that Earl Grey, that a little bit of sarsaparilla coming through on the back end, long finish. This baby is hanging on. I'm still tasting this, which is what you're looking for in a well-structured wine, one that's well-made, that finish just lingers. That is a great bottle of wine. I'm looking forward to putting a couple of those away, and if I were you, you can drink this now, no problem. It would stand up to lamb even. It's got enough structure to do that, but this is a beauty. 5 years, this is going to flesh out really nicely, and then it'll just get more mature from that point. Nice job, Jerome. I'm going to give this one an A minus. No, I'm going to go A on this one. That's a really nice job on that Pinot. I was expecting to kind of pan it, 42 bucks, but buying a Pinot of this quality from Burgundy, I'm serious. You're talking $80 to $120. And so, Oregon really does show good value. If you're a Pinot Noir person and you're stuck on Burgundy, you can't get away from it, I would encourage you to try a couple of these Pinots that we just tried for a fraction of the price. Even a Drouhin at $42 is a good value. Congratulations to my boys down South Oregon. Oregon, you deserve your own month. You do an excellent job, especially with Pinot Noir. And you know what, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Cheers, and here's to keeping the snob out of wine.